Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmad Paramagurubhyo Namaha, Asmad Sarva Gurubhyo Namaha. So we're continuing on with our discussion of Hari Bhakti Vilas. And today we are trying to finish off the section about discussing the 4 different types of initiation. They are Kriyavati, Varnamayi, Vedamayi, and Kalavati. Kriyavati, Kalavati, Varnamayi, and Vedamayi. So we found a section in Sharda Tilaka which explains these, and we've been going through it. Last week we discussed the 4th Patala, or the 4th chapter of Sharda Tilaka, which is all the Kriyavati. It's all about Kriyavati, and in fact the Kriyavati initiation continues on into the 5th. So the 5th chapter is going to be it. So we'll go a little bit faster today. So I don't want to spend a whole lot of time. But anyway, so let's begin with the 5th chapter. So it says here in the cult. So we got up to the point where in the end of the 4th chapter that there was going to be an adivasa, and the student and the teacher were lying down on a kushagrass mat in the yagashala, and they were sleeping until the next morning. So all of the activities that we talked about in the last 2 classes are the beginning part of the initiation, and the initiation actually takes place on the 2nd day, but there's a previous day where there's all these other aspects that have to be gone through. So it says here in the 5th Patala, the 5th chapter, in the cultured having samskaras, acharya kunda. So there's an acharya kunda. There's a standila or a specific fire altar which is used by the acharya. According to all tantric texts, I expose Agni Janana in the method of Shastra. So he's talking here about the 18 tantric samskaras which are performed on the fire, and apparently that's in the Acharya Kunda. Now, I don't know about in this particular system, but normally in Pancharatra they have 4 fires. Starting from the east, there's a square one, there's a half moon or a bow-shaped one in the south. That's called. So the first one is called Avasatya, then or Ahavaniya, and then we have Dakshinagni, right? And in the south, and then Garhapatya is a round one in the west, and then in the north we have either a triangular shaped one or a yoni shaped one, or it could be also lotus flower shaped one, or one that looks like a satkona, a 6-pointed star. And then just north of that, just east of that, in the northeast corner, you might have a 5th kunda, which is used either for the vastu puja or as an acharya kunda. And the acharya kunda could be, I might be wrong about this, there's different layouts of yagashalas, but the acharya kunda could also be triangle shaped or also or yoni shaped, like that. But anyway, it's the acharya kunda for some specific oblations that are offered by the acharya or for the acharya. So here it's talking about the 18 tantric samskaras, 18 agamic samskaras, which are done for the fire. So yesterday we talked a little bit about offering different. It was said in the last chapter, it was said that you should get the balagni, you should get the baby agni, the infant agni, by churning the wood and getting the fire from that. And then when you have the baby agni, you have to offer the different samskaras for the agni. So this is a different thing. This is a different thing that they're doing with the these samskars are going to be explained here. There are 18 some tantric samskars which are done here. Now, I'm not going to be able to explain exactly how these are done. And what we need to do is, if anybody's really interested in this, I have a commentary on this, but the commentary is in Sanskrit. So we would have to go through the commentary to understand exactly each one of these ceremonies, these 18 tantric samskars. But we'll just give you a list of the 18 tantric samskars. We might be able to understand something about some of them. So the first one is called vikshanam. It means observing. Vikshanam, observing with the use of the Mula mantra. The Mula mantra is, of course, the mantra which the teacher or the guru, acharya, is going to give to the student. The second one is called prokshanam. Now, prokshanam is sprinkling. And as I said, there's different ways of doing sprinkling. So we're going to also hear some other words for sprinkling here. There's different forms of sprinkling. And it depends on how the hand is used or what is used to sprinkle. And these are actually different types of sprinkling. So prokshana, prokshana is just a common word for sprinkling, but here it means a particular type of sprinkling. Sprinkling by the Astra mantra. Now the Astra mantra, as we said before, there was a different Astra mantra given here, slightly different, but normally it's just Omastraya Pat. Okay, so the third thing is called tadanam. Tadanam, which means beating, literally. Now, obviously, you're not going to beat the fire, right? Or you're not going to. Tadanam is also. Now, a lot of these things, maybe, I'm not sure, but some of these things are described in Hari Bhakti Vilasa right at the end of the first Vilasa, I think, or second Vilasa, I'm not sure. When we talk about mantras in Hari Bhakti Vilasa, sometimes we also talk about mantras, creating a mantra. If you create a mantra, you have to also perform the samskaras for that mantra, and you have to also perform some of these samskaras, these tantric samskaras for it also. So tadanam, I believe, was one of those, which was mentioned also in Hari Bhakti Vilasa. So it says here, tadanam, or beating, also with the Astra mantra. Again, almost dry apart. Then abhyukshana. Abhyukshana is a different type of sprinkling. Prokshana and abhyukshana are two different types of sprinkling. So abhyukshana, sprinkling by darba grass or kusha grass with the kavala mantra. Now, I don't know what the kavala mantra is, but anyway, you sprinkle using kusha grass instead of just sprinkling with your hand. Sprinkling with kusha grass and with this kavala mantra, that's called abhyukshana. The fifth one is kanana. Kanana means digging with the Astra mantra. So you might have to do some digging, I don't know, in the Acharya Kunda. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Again, with the Astra mantra, almost dry apart. 6 is udharana, or taking up. Again, with the Astra mantra. 7 is prapuranam, or filling up with the Astra mantra and the Hridaya mantra. Okay, so this is very, very common. There's some very common mantras. Almost dry a put, you sprinkle something and purify it. Then you take something and you place it inside of something. So for instance, in Tiruvaradanam or regular daily puja, when we set up the vatils or the patras, the vessels that we use for padya, agya, achamaniya, madhuparka, shnaniya, surodaka, all these different types of liquids that we're offering to the Lord for different reasons, right? Each one of them has ingredients to put in them. And we discussed that, I think, before. But if you can't get those ingredients, you can just use a tulsi leaf. You can just put the water, you can put a tulsi leaf and then add water, okay? Or if you have some of the ingredients, you can add some of the ingredients, but they're different for padya, water for washing the feet, arghya, water for washing the hands or sprinkling on the head, achmaniya, water for rinsing the mouth. These are all different. And then, of course, if we do an abhishekam with many different items, there might be, many different items like the items panchagavya, panchamrita, 5 items of the cow, 5 nectars that are offered. So each one of them has a way of establishing the different pots of liquids and things. So when we put items in, we usually, you know, we're used to doing things like we'll pour something and then we'll add something to it. But the actual method is you add something first and then you pour it. So when you add something, you put it in the heart. You put it in the heart of the pot. So putting something in the heart of the pot, an ingredient, it might just be a tulsi leaf, but it could also be some spices, right? You put it in, and then you fill it with water. So you first of all say the Hridaya mantra for putting it in the heart, and secondly you say the Sirase mantra, the Siras mantra. Sirase, so Hridayaya Namaha, you put it in, and Sirase Swaha, you fill it up. Om Astraya Pat, Om Hridaya Namaha, Om Sirase Swaha, right? So Sirase Swaha means fill it up to the top, to the head. That's why it's a head mantra is used. Okay. So here we're just sprinkling. So we've got here taking up, and then Parapuranam, filling up with the Astra mantra and the Hridaya mantra. Then number 8, it says Samikaranam, leveling with the Astra mantra. Sechanam, or another type of sprinkling. So you can notice that there's a thing called parisechanam, which means sprinkling around. Which when we take food and we do the Brahma Bhojana, the first thing we do is we sprinkle water around. So sprinkling water is called sechanam. Parisechanam is sprinkling around. Pari means around. So parikrama means walking around. Parisechanam means sprinkling around. Okay, so sechanam, sprinkling, and this is also done with the Astra mantra and the Kavacha mantra. So this sechanam here may also indicate parisechana. So I'm not sure exactly. We have to look in the commentary, but it probably means parisechana or sprinkling around, because the Kavacha mantra is used. When the Kavacha mantra is used, you're encircling something. Kavacha means protecting. Kavacha means a shield. So whenever you say Kavachaya Hum, right, which is the Kavacha mantra, Kavachaya Hum, right, then we either protect ourselves around ourselves, or we protect, we touch the shoulders or whatever it is, right? We're protecting ourselves. Kavacha means shield. Then the 12th thing is vilepana. Vilepana is coating. Vilepana, it can also be translated as pasting. So when you coat something with something, so it could be just painting, or it could be plastering with some thick covering like sandalwood paste, right? So vilepanam, right? Then the 13th is kala rupa kalpanam. Kala rupa kalpanam, identifying with Soma, Surya, and Agni. Identifying with Soma, Surya, and Agni. Remember we talked about the different kalas? Soma is the moon, has 16 kalas or 16 parts. Surya is the sun, has 12 parts, and Agni, as fire, has 10 parts. So there are 10 names for the 10 types of Agni. There are 12 months of the year, or 12 zodiac signs. So there are 12 kalas of Surya, the sun, right? 12 different aspects of the sun, and then the aspects of the moon, or kalas of the moon, are 16 according to the lunar tithi from 1 to 14 plus Amavasya and Purnima, right? So the Kala Rupa Kalpanam has to do with identifying identifying the fire, or the fire in the Agni, in the Acharya Kunda here, with Soma, Surya, and Agni, with the kalas of Soma, Surya, and Agni. So normally in a normal ceremony, we would identify we could chant the different names of Agni for the fire, but here it seems like what they're saying is to chant or to identify the different kalas of all three of the sources of light and heat. All three of the sources of light and heat. The three are fire, the sun, and the moon. Right. So all of the colors have to be identified here. 14, the 14th samskara here is called Trishus Trikaranam. Trishus Trikaranam. I have no idea what that means. We could look up the Sanskrit for Trisustri and see what it means. I don't even know if I have my Sanskrit dictionary online yet, right here. No. We could look that up. Okay, so Trisustri Karanam in the dictionary, I can't find out what that means, so we'd have to look at the commentary for that. So I don't really understand that point. Although tree, the word tree means three. Shustri, I'm not sure in this what it means here. The next thing is archanam, or worshipping. That's the 15th samskar. The 16th samskar is Vajri Karanam with the Astra mantra. Vajri is obviously a Vajra is a thunderbolt. So thunderbolt is a weapon, and therefore we use the Astra mantra for that. So the Astra mantra is Omastraya Pat again, right? Then we go to the 17th one is Chatuspata Karnam. Chatuspata Karnam, chanting of four things. Chanting of four things, maybe the four Vedas, we don't know. It's a tantric ceremony, so Chatuspata, we probably not the four Vedas, but could be. Let's see, fourth Chatuspata Karnam, and the 18th one is Akshapatanam. Akshapatanam. Akshapatanam, I have no idea what that means. It could be throwing akshata, not sure. The kundas in yagas, and yagas are usually bigger homas. Like if we have a homa, that's one thing, and a yaga is considered to be a bigger homa. So a yaga means a yajna, a sacrifice. So the other word for yajna is yaga. So it's Y long AGA. Okay, yaga. The kundas in yagas shall be cultured by the suggested samskaras. Okay, so whatever kundas you have in the ceremony here, you have to do that. Suppose if anybody is not capable of doing all the samskaras, then he may do at least the first four. So from Vikshana, Prokshana, Tadana, and Abhukshana. Okay, so he can do at least the first four. So there's something is said there that one can do it in a more simple way. Three lines are drawn with the Hridaya mantra, and those three lines shall be ended in the east or north direction. So this is very common in the Agnimukham or the Kusandika, in the Vedic one, is that there three lines are drawn, right? And three other lines are drawn. And so usually the sacrificer is sitting in the west facing east. He usually draws from the west to east, and then from south to north. Three lines crossing another three lines. In Apastamba Prayoga, this is done without mantra. In Bodhayana Prayoga, it's done with mantras. There are Vedic mantras to do this. Of course, this is a tantric sacrifice, so they haven't mentioned any mantras. Maybe there are mantras for that, tantric mantras. But anyway, it seems to be copying the Vedic system. Okay. The three lines shall be ended in east and north direction. The devatas for east ending lines are Mukunda, Isha, and Indra. Right, Mukunda means Vishnu, Isha means Shiva, Indra means Indra. From north ending lines, the ones from south to north, Brahma, Vaivashvata, and Soma. So Brahma means Chaturmukha Brahma, four-headed Brahma, Vaivashvata, and Soma. Soma means the moon. So, or a triangle shall be drawn in a Shatkona. Okay, so a Shatkona is what? A Shatkona is two intersecting triangles, right, up and down, making a six-pointed star. Inside the middle of the six-pointed star is a triangle. And normally the triangle will be put in there to represent Shakti in the form of a yoni. It'll make a triangle with the point down. Okay, so we do a satkona and do a triangle with point facing down, meaning you're in the west facing east. The point of the triangle is in the west. The flat part of the triangle is to the east. And this is all drawn in the Acharya Kunda. By pranava, everything will be sprinkled. So we sprinkle everything with water, prokshana, right, with the pranava. Pranava is, of course, omkara, om. And then worship the yaga pita. So the pita of the yagya, the pita means the standila, the sacrificial altar, that has to be worshipped. Vagishwari means Saraswati, right? Being illumined like blue lotus, like a blue lotus. Okay, so we have to, when we do the Pita Puja of this standila, of the fire altar, then we have to think of Saraswati in the form of Vagishwari, a goddess wearing illuminated like a blue lotus. So she is of the color, she's blue, she's bluish and shining, being a woman who has bathed after menstruation. Okay, so after the ladies have their monthly period, they do a thing called Ritu Shnanam. That means they bathe completely head to foot. They also wash the hair, which they don't have to do every day, but they wash the hair after this period. And this is called Ritu Shnanam. Ritu means a season and Shnanam means bath. So they do this head bath. In English, in India, they call it head bath. It means that they take bath, including the head. So sometimes people might take a shower and they don't include the head. They don't include the hair. They maybe wash the face separately and they bathe the body separately, but they don't include the hair. So at this time, they have to bathe the hair. So the meditation on Saraswati is that she's illuminated blue and she has just taken Ritu Shnanam, that bath after her period. And the ladies are considered most auspicious at that time, right? So with her husband, Vagishwara. Now, Vagishwara would mean the husband of Saraswati, which should mean Chaturmukha Brahma. Brahma is the husband of Saraswati, right? So Chaturmukha Brahma is normally considered the husband of Saraswati. We do see in some cases in iconography, Saraswati is also considered to be a consort of Vishnu, sometimes. But here I think it means that Chaturmukha Brahma. So Vagishwara, we can look that up also, Vagishwara, shall be worshipped by upacharas. So we're going to offer upacharas. So this probably means just offering 5 upacharas, Ganda, Pushpa, Dupa, Deepa, Naivedya, to Vagishwara. The fire born out of Suryakanta stone. So Suryakanta stone here would be a lens, a glass lens, right, that is made in such a way as you can concentrate the sunlight and you can make fire in that way. That's a Suryakanta lens of stone. Or fire from the house of a Vedic scholar. These two types of fire are considered to be older than the Balagni. The Balagni is the one which is made by churning, by friction. Then the Yovana Agni is the one from the Suryakanta or the magnifying glass. And the Vrida Agni, the older Agni, or the old Agni, is the one coming from a Vedic scholar's house. The Vedic scholar, of course, will be keeping the sacrificial fires. He'll be keeping the Vedic fires. Now, that can be the Smarta Agni, in which Upasana Homa is done daily, or it can be Shrauta Agni, in which Agnihotram is done daily. Okay, so they bring that fire, brought in a vessel, which normally would be a plate. It'll be brought on a plate, brought in a vessel. Then kravyadamsa, right? Funeral of burning dead bodies shall be left, assuming, and then deshika culture, the fire by vision vikshana. I have no idea what he means by that. I have no idea what he means by that. The Chaitanya, or the consciousness, right, shall be assumed as it has been united with the fire by Vahana Bija. The Vahana Bija is Ram mantra, which is the fire beach, right, or the fire seed, while remembering the external, born of earth fire's identity with the fire in the stomach, Jataragni, and the Paramatma. Okay, so while you do this, you have to chant the Bij mantra Ram, and you have to think of that all the fires merging into one another. So you have three fires here. You have an external fire, you have the internal fire in your stomach, fire of digestion, and you also have the fire of the Paramatma. And you have to think of the Paramatma, or the super soul, as also being merged with all these other fires. While establishing the fire, pranava, Om, right, is pronounced. Amriti Karana with Dhenu Mudra, which comes like the four breasts or udders, or the udder of a cow, right? The mudra, the mudra, the cow mudra, right? So, so when you're establishing the fire, when you're taking the fire and putting it from whatever source you got it, from the magnifying glass or from the Vedic scholar's house, it's interesting because yesterday we had a fire, right? And that was a Balagni. And today we have a fire which is made from the magnifying glass or the Vedic scholar's house. Excuse me. Okay, so you put it in there with Omkara, and also show the Dhenu Mudra, and then protect the fire with the Astra mantra, Omastraya Pat, and cover it by the Kavachaya Hum. So we do all that, and then thus worshipping the fire shall be surrounded by three, and then thus worshipped fire shall be surrounded by three, and then be kept upon the kunda. Surrounded by three what? Not exactly sure. Then pradakshina shall be done with the pronouncing the Omkara, the pranava. Somehow doing pradakshina. I'm not sure if you're doing pradakshina parisechana with water, or if you actually have to go around the fire. The fire shall be faced towards Acharya, and the Acharya being on his knees, his knees shall touch the ground. It shall be assumed as the virility of Lord Shiva, the fire, and then it shall be kept in the Yoni Kunda. So remember I told you that the Acharya Kunda can also be shaped like a yoni or shaped like a triangle. The Achamana shall be done to the god and the goddess. So because this is not specifically a Vaishnava ritual, but it can be adapted for Vaishnavism, and it can be adapted for Shaivism, it can be adapted for Shaktism. So the Achamana being done here is got to do with either, it can be done with mention of names of Vishnu or Shiva or Shakti, right? Sometimes we see this, right? So although normal Achamana is normally with the normal Tantric Achamana is normally with the names of Vishnu, but sometimes we do see Shaivas and Shaktis using other mantras for Achamana. So the Acharya shall inflame the fire by the mantra under mentioned. So inflaming the fire means fanning the fire or blowing on the fire through your hand or through a tube to bring the flames up, because normally what's brought on the plate is not actually flaming but a hot coal. So there's a Chit Pingala mantra. Chit Pingala mantra. Hana Daha Posha Yug Maryu Dhirya Cha Sarva Gya Gyapaya Swaha. Okay, so Chit Pingalam Hana Daha Posha Yugman Dhirya Cha Sarva Gyapaya Swaha. This mantra is a very ancient one, according to this text. So then there's another mantra, Agnim Prajvalotam Vande Jata Vedam. Vande means offering obeisances. Jata Vedam is the name of Agni. Hutasanam Suvarna Varnamalam Samidam Vishpato Mukam. So we have to look in the actual text for this and we can find the mantras if anybody's interested in actually making a procedure out of this. So continuing on, this is 20. Again, we're still talking about the Kriyavati system of initiation. We haven't yet got to the Kalavati, the Varnamayi or the Vedamayi, but we'll get there. By this mantra, Agni Upastanam, or praise of Agni, right, being done according to the ritual rules. Okay, so just like we do in the Vedic Agni Mukham or Kusandikam, we chant some prayers to Vaishirshe, Sapta Jihwa, there's some mantras which are chanted, which are praising Agni. So this is called Agni Upastanam. Right. The tongues of the fire are all the body. It shall be assumed in the Acharya's body. So we meditate upon the tongues, the different tongues of the fire as being in the Acharya's body. Right. So it says here, it's talking about a particular nyasa that the Acharya has to do, probably with the Ram Bij, right, which is the Agni Bij. And it says here, over the penis, excretion means the anus, the head, the face, the nose, the eyes, etc., using the letters Ra, Ya, and U with Sa and Sa to Ya, right? So Sa, Ha, Sa to Ya in the opposite order with Anushwara, with the syllable M, the letter M, Anushwara, or Bindu. Anushwara Bindu is the same thing, it's pure nasal sound. Will be the mantra that is suggested by the Deshikas, the people who actually know this right, the knowledgeable persons. They will say to do this particular type of nyasa. So the Acharya does this nyasa. To exactly work out this nyasa, you'd have to give me some time. I could work it out with the specific places on the body and the specific order of the alphabetical the alphabets with Anushwara added. We could do that. That's not so difficult. According to the attributes of the tongues, again, the tongues of the fire are classified into 3 in the different rites. Okay, so there are sattvika, rajasika, and tamasika tongues of the fire. The sattvika tongues are called Hiranya, Gagana Rakta. Rakta means reddish brown. Krishna, Saprabha, Bahurupa, Atirikta, and these are for the yaga rites, for the sacrificial rites. These are the sattvika tongues. The rajasika tongues, right? So what we're talking about, there are different types of yagas. There are different types of homas. So according to the purpose of the homa is considered different. So if you're doing a sacrifice to the devas, and you're just doing a sacrifice to the devas, and you don't have any specific issue specific desire that you want to fulfill to worship God, then it's very sattvic. So these are the names of the tongues. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have five names of the tongues of the fire for the sattvic tongues. The rajasic tongues, which are used for kamya rites. Kamya rites means you're doing a sacrifice and you're expecting to get a result from that. You're expecting to get, you have a specific desire. So for instance, like a putra kameshti yaga. A putra kameshti yaga means I want to get a son. If I want to have a son, then I hire some priests, I get some priests, and we do what's called putra kameshti. Kameshti means my desire is to have a son. Okay. So any sort of desire that somebody has, right? Except for the desires which are really considered bad, like killing the enemies or something like that, which will be talked about in a minute by the tamasa fires. Okay. So the rajasic tongues are Padma Raga, Suvarna, Bhadra Lohita, Lohita Sweta, Dumini, Karalika. Then those are the names of the tongues of the fire in Kamya rites. They are the rajasic tongues. The tamasic tongues, right, are Vishwamurti, Spulingini, Dhumravarna. Dhumravarna means smoky colored, right, and Manojava. Lohit. Then okay. So then there's another series of 3 tongues of fire, which are considered for wild rites. I don't know exactly what he means by wild rites, but tamasic rites would be for like killing other persons or cursing other persons. Wild rites, I'm not sure exactly what that is. Lohita, Karala, and Kali are for wild rites. The colors of the fires of the tongues are according to their names, and the Adi Devatas of the 7 tongues are Amartya, Pitri, Gandharva, Yaksha, Naga, Pisacha, and Rakshasha. So these are all the Adi Devatas of those different tongues of the fires, right? So the tongues of the fire are aspects of the fire, right? And each one of them has what we call an Adi Devata, means a predominating deity of that tongue, right? So those predominating deities are associated with the Pitris and the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, the Nagas, the Pisachas, and the Rakshasas. And Amartya, I'm not quite sure what that means. Amartya, the Eternals, maybe. Okay, so the Anga Manu, or the Anga Mantras of the fire shall be done. So you have to do Anga Mantras of the fire, which again sounds to me like doing Vinyasa with the fire beej, which is rum beej on the body. That is, the Acharya is doing that. Nyasa in the body is suggested in this way. Sahasrachi, second, Swasti Purna, third, Utista Purusha, fourth, Dhumavapi, Vyapi, then fifth, Sapta Jihva, and seventh, Dhanuri Dara. The Saranga mantras are to be done with its jati. So I'm not quite sure exactly what that means, but so the example they give here is Sahasra Chirase Hridayaya Namaha. Oh, I see. Okay. So this would be an anyasa which is done on the body by the Acharya. So he's going to do Sahasra Chishe Hridayaya Namaha, Swasti Purnaya Sirse Swaha, Utishta Purushaya Shikaya Vasate, Dumya Vapine Kavachaya Hum, Sapta Jipwaya Netrabhyam Voshate or Netratraya Voshate, and Danuridaraya Astraya Pate. Okay, so that'll be it. Okay, from what he says here. These murtis shall be given asana, like Om, Ram, Agnya Asanaya Namaha. And the particular asana shall be assumed as a part and parcel of the fire. Okay, so after mentioning these different deities, right, of the different forms or colors of the fire, you have to establish them, right, which is called parikalpanam, and given them a seat. And the way you do that is, again, by using this term Om Ram Agniyasanaya Namaha. Okay. The god Agni shall be meditated upon as having the form with swastika and abhaya mudras. Okay, so Agni, you meditate on the form of Agni, the Devata Agni, and he's showing the swastika and the abhaya mudras. So not exactly sure what the swastika mudra would be, but the abhaya mudra, we have the Varda, and we have the abhaya mudra, bearing the javaba in lengthy hands. Javaba, I'm not sure what that means. Sitting in Padmasana means full lotus position, having three eyes, and having and being the hair's jataband. So his hairs are, I believe, matted hair, maybe. The parisechana done. The parisechana done shall be done with water upon the mekalas. Okay, so remember I said that the standila, the fire kunda, in this case the acharya kunda, right, has different mekalas, has different tiers. There are 3 tiers usually. So it says here that doing parisechana or sprinkling around the tiers, right, and parisechana is done around the mekala, and paristarnam is done with darbagrasas. So after you do all this, you sprinkle around the kunda, the fire kunda, and you lay down the kusha grass. So normally laying of kusha grass according to Apasambhara Bodhayana, you take 4 darbas and you lay it down along the sides, and there's a certain order in which to lay it, so that the tips will be the tips will be on top of the roots, right? So you lay it tip to root, right, and the tips will be up, right? Or depending on how you lay it down. Okay. So it hasn't mentioned exactly that here, but you probably follow the same procedure that you do in a normal Vedic Agni Mukham. So in all sides except the eastern side, Brahman, etc., devatas shall be worshipped in clockwise in them. Sacrifice shall be done. Okay, so the devatas for the different directions are worshipped, and this can be done with flower and akshata, or just akshata, right? Or they can be established, and this is also part of regular normal Agni Mukham. So the meditated fire by the sandal, meditate on the fire with sandal and flowers, etc. The mantra Vaishvarana Jata Veda Pade Paschadi Havana Lohitakshapadas Yante Sarvakamani Sadhaya Vahnijaya Swaha. Right. Okay. So then the tongues of the fire shall be worshipped in the middle 6 angles. So remember, in the middle we have a satkona, so there are 6 angles. There are 6 angles or points to the star. So we're going to worship the tongues in those places. The Anga Devatas shall be worshipped in the Kesharas, or angle endings. So I guess inside the points and at the points, the Kesharas, the Anga Devatas are worshipped at the points. The Shakti Devata bearing swastika mudra in the petals, and the Lokapal devatas in the 10 directions according to the suggested way in the previous patala. Okay, so we look back at the previous chapter and we see how that was done for worshipping the Lokapals, the different directional deities. And so the 10 directions, including up and down, 8 directions including up and down. Then the Shruk and Shruva are taken, face downwards by both the hands, and it shall be heated in the fire 3 times. This is very common in Agni Mukam. You take the Shruk and the Shruva, turn them upside down and heat them in the fire. Then taking Darba grass, the Deshika shall cleanse the top, middle, and bottom of the Shruk and Shruva in that order, right? So this is what we do. We take, after we've put them through the flames like that, we then take both of them in the left hand, take kusha grass in the right hand, and with the tip of the kusha grass, we clean the tip of the Shruk Shruva. With the root of the kusha grass, we clean the bottom end of the Shruk Shruva. And with the middle part of the kusha grass, we just touch and clean the middle part of the Shruk Shruva. This is the same as in Vedic Agni Mukam. Both shall be done in the left hand, and sprinkling by right hand shall be done. Okay, so again, it's in the two spoons are in the left hand, and you take some water at the end and sprinkle them. Oh, I'm sorry. That was done before you heat. First sprinkle, then heat the spoons, and then no, that's right. No, after we brush them with the Darba grass, then we sprinkle, and then after heating the Shruk Shruva again, right, the Darba grass shall be thrown into the fire. Right? So do that, heat them again, then the grass that you use to clean them with, throw it in the fire. Then the Aja, the ghee vessel, do prokshan of the ghee vessel. So you have a vessel, but it's got no ghee in it right now. So you take that vessel and you do prokshan of it with the Astra mantra, Om Astraya Pat. You sprinkle some water on it, and then keep ghee in it. Pour the ghee into it, which is cultured by Vikshana. So the ghee also has to be that you also have to do all of these 18 samskaras, or minimum 4, on the ghee. Right? In the northwest, so you're in the west facing east. The north is on your left side. The northwest is near to you, in the near corner near to you, right, on the left-hand side, right? You take take a charcoal, right, and you take that out of the fire and you put it up on the top of the top mekala, the top level of the standila, and you put the ghee bowl just next to that, so that the heat from that charcoal is heating the ghee slightly. So in the northwest, a little fire, charcoal, shall be put, and the solid ghee vessel. So there's a vessel of ghee, and the ghee is somewhat solid, right? But it's going to heat up a little bit because you're going to put it next to this charcoal. Shall be put upon that fire, and the ghee may be melted. 2 darba grasses. So 2 darba grasses, usually they're only short ones, right? So one span of the hand, right, with a tip, making sure that there's a tip, right? Take them and take hold of the root end, right? And then inflame them. So 2 darbas in the fire, get a flame on them, shall be put in the ghee and then in the fire. So light them up, put them in the ghee, stick the lighted flames in the ghee like that to purify them, and then put them in the fire. Most people, what they do is they light it, they do parisechanam around, they do around the ghee a couple of times or 3 times, and then put it out in the ghee, and then the leftover they throw it in the fire. the Pavitrikaranam, this Pavitrikaranam is by Guru Hridaya Mantra, right? So I don't know why Guru. Guru could mean long, or it could have something to do with the Acharya. Hridaya Mantra, of course, is Hridaya Namaha, and do that. So this is very similar, except in Vedic, in the Vedic system, you don't say any mantra, but here they have a particular mantra that you're supposed to use when you do that. Abhidyotana is defined as the inflaming of 2 darbas, right, and worshipping the ghee by Kavacha mantra, and putting those darba grasses into the fire. So there's another system here, or they're explaining that there are a few different ways of doing this. So abhidyotana, whatever that means, is defined as inflaming 2 darbas and worshipping the ghee, or putting it in the ghee with the Kavacha mantra. So depending on what mantra you use, it's considered to be a slightly different method, and putting those darba grasses in the fire. So it's unclear here as if these are alternative methods or if these are to be done one after another. Then the third thing is udyotana. Udyotana is defined as showing the flaming darba grass with the Astra mantra, Omastraya Pat, and putting the same into the fire. So just showing them and not touching the ghee. So this is another way of doing it. Or it could be the third way of doing it. Maybe all 3 are done. Then the ghee vessel should be taken, and the little fire charcoal shall be put into the fire. So we take the ghee vessel, put it back right in front of us, and we have tongs, some tongs, or we have a wooden implement with a hand on the end of it, right? Which we brush the charcoal from the top northwest corner of the standila, the fire pit, into the fire again. Yeah, so that's normal. Then he shall touch the water in the midst of the thumb and ring finger of both hands. So he has to touch water. Okay, so after putting this back in the fire, then he has to purify his hands. Yeah, touch in the midst of the thumb and the ring finger, and touch water. So the prokshini patra, which is the sprinkling patra, right? Measuring one pradesh, darba grass. By those darbas, utpavana shall be done, taking and leaving the ghee from the vessel by darba grass facing the fire. Not sure. You know what? This sounds like Trivir Purya. Okay, this is a system of purifying the ghee. What you do is you take this much darba, tie a Brahma Granthi in it, right? Tie a Brahma Granthi knot in it. You hold it between the thumbs and the ring finger, right? And you dip the Brahma Granthi in the ghee 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Not back and forth, just from the west to the east and out in from the west to the east, like that 3 times. This is called Trivir Purya in Vedic Agni Mukham. So that's what they're doing now. Now that you made the ghee liquid, before the ghee was much more solid, and now it's really liquid because you just put it next to the charcoal. So now you purify it again with these 2 darbas, these 2 kushas. After you finish doing that, you undo the knot and you throw that in the fire. Okay, this is typical Agni Mukham. The same action facing towards the acharya is called samplavana. So facing towards the acharya. So if you would do it that way, I guess it would be called samplavana. Not quite sure about that. Because samplavana doesn't usually mean, plavana usually means bathing. Samplavana, not sure. Thus the 6 samskaras were told. The home of it. Okay, so this are the different aspects of setting up the sacrificial fire, which are different from the day before. Some of them are the same, some of them are different. The same action towards the acharya is called samplavana. Thus the 6 samskaras are told. The home of it is explained hereafter. 2 darba grasses having a knot shall be kept in the ghee. Measurement of darba grass shall be 1 pradesh, right? With the result, which result in the partition of the ghee into right sides and left sides. Okay. So now you have the ghee in front of you in the ghee patra. You should then take another set of 2 darbas, 2 kusha grasses, tie a brahma granthi in them, and put them face from the root in the west and the tip in the east, right, in the ghee. So you've divided the ghee in the pot into 2 parts, right? The left portion will be called the Ida Nadi, and the right portion will be called the Pingala Nadi, and the middle is the Sushumna Nadi, and the homa shall be done according to the ritual rules. Okay, so your idea is you've got the ghee there, and you've divided the ghee in half by putting laying a darba, 2 darbas with a brahma granthi in the middle of it, and you can take ghee from one side or the other side to offer it into the fire, and you're meditating upon one side and the other side as being the Ida and Pingala nadis, or the different nerves that run up the spine and cross over at the chakras in the body, right? So this is all a tantric meditation, right? This is all a tantric meditation, and the ghee that comes directly from above, where the darbas are sitting and lying in the ghee, that will be the sushumna, right? Which is the direct nerve that runs up the back of the spine through the different chakras. Okay, so the acharya shall take ghee in the shruva. Remember, the shruva is the small spoon, with the Hridaya mantra. Hridaya mantra is Hridayaya Namaha, right? Right, and it shall be thrown in the right eye of the fire. I'm assuming, right? After telling Agnaye Swaha, it shall be taken from the right portion of the ghee. So the right portion of the ghee is what we're meditating upon as being the Pingala Nadi, right? So the right half of the ghee. He's taking some ghee, right? It should, in the same way, from the left portion, a little ghee shall be taken, and it shall be sacrificed into the left eye of the fire, right? So we can imagine the fire has a left and right eyes. So the first two oblations that he's saying, the mantra for putting it in the left eye of the fire is Somaya Swaha, right? So here we are. The first, after we've divided up the ghee, first of all, we take a little bit of ghee from the right side and we offer it into the right eye. Right, so we take the ghee saying Hridaya Namaha. Again, the ghee is going into the spoon. So it's a Hridaya mantra which is used for letting the ghee flow into the little spoon, the small spoon, into the inside of the small spoon. Hridaya Namaha. Then we pick it up and we offer that Agnaye Swaha to the right eye of the fire. Then we take it from the left side of the ghee and we offer it to the left eye of the fire with Hridaya Namaha and Somaya Swaha, right? Then a little ghee from the middle portion, right? The middle portion of the ghee shall be taken and sacrificed into the middle eye of the fire. Remember, we've meditated upon the fire as having 3 eyes, right? In the meditation. So we've offered into the right eye, the left eye, now the middle eye. So we're offering from the part of the ghee that we're meditating on, the Shushumna Nadi, which is in the middle, we're offering into the middle eye. So he will take that. So again, he's going to take it in the Shruva, and he's going to offer it in there, saying, Agnisomabhyam swaha. Right? So Agnaye swaha, Somaya swaha, right? And Agni Somabhyam swaha, right? Now, so Agni means unto Agni, Soma means unto Soma, the moon. Agni Somabhyam means unto Agni and Soma, right? Swaha. Right. A little ghee shall be taken from the right side of the Shruva, and it shall be sacrificed into the fire with the mantra Agnaye Sristikrite Swaha. So, again from the right side, offering into the fire Agnaye Sristikrite Swaha, which is common in Vedic Agni Muktam, the Sristikrit mantra, right? For each ahuti shall be at the time of ha pronounced. Okay, so what he means by this is you should put the ghee into the fire when you say ha, when you say the last syllable of the mantra that you're offering into fire. This is, just simple thing. If I say Agnaye Swaha, then I put the fire, then I put the ghee in. When I say ha, Swaha, and I put it in at that time. Thus the Acharya shall do Uchatanam of Agni's eyes. So this whole thing is called the Uchatanam of Agni's eyes and face with the Pranava and Vyahriti mantra by ghee, and then by Agni mantra, the Deshika, the Acharya, shall put the ghee for three times, and then Garbhadana, etc. samskaras shall be done in the order. So remember the day before, we offered the Garbhadana and different Garbhadana, Jatakarma, Pungsavana, Jatakarma, Namakarna, like that. We were offering one oblation of ghee for each of the samskaras to offer the samskaras to the fire. Okay? So he's going to do, first of all, after he does that, for the eyes, he's doing Mahavyarti Homa with the Pranava and Vyahritis, Om Bhuswaha, Om Bhuvaswaha, Om Swaswaha, Om Suvaswaswaha, Om Bhurbhavaswaswaha, right? Those four. And then he's going to offer Garbhadan, etc. Garbhadanaya Swaha, Pumsavanaya Swaha, like this, and he's going to offer these different samskaras. Okay, these are done separately by 8 ghee ahutis, each with the pranava. The samskaras are Garbhadana, Pungsavana, Simontanayana, Jatakarma, Namakarna, Upanikarmana, Anaprasana, Chola, Upanayana, Mahanamnya, Mahavratam, Upanishadam, Godanam, and Samavartanam. Okay, these are the Samavartanam. Excuse me, Samavartanam, Udvaha, Vivaha, and Marna. Marna means death. Vivaha means, of course, marriage. So they're offering here all of the different samskaras. I believe the previous day they were only offering up until Vivaha, if I'm not mistaken. But here he's also offering Marna. So 17. So it has been done separately by 8 ahutis for each with pranava. Oh, okay. So you have to offer 8 times into the fire for each one of these samskaras. 8 spoons of ghee. So 8 for Garbhadana, 8 for Pungsavana, 8 for Simantanana, 8 for Jatakarma, 8 for Namakarna, 8 for Upanikramana, 8 for Anaprasana, 8 for Chola, 8 for Upanayana, 8 for Mahanamnyam, 8 for Mahavratam, 8 for Upanishadam, 8 for Godanam, 8 for Samavartanam, 8 for Udvaha, 8 for Vivaha, and 8 for Marna. So that's a lot of oblations. 8 times 17. The auspicious rituals, in auspicious rituals, the samskaras up to Vivaha shall be done. Okay, so that's why we were yesterday. Yesterday was all about the Adivas, the first part, the first day of the initiation. So that's why they only did up to Vivaha. That's and here they're explaining going further and offering for more samskaras to the fire, right? So it says here the krura or killing motivated rituals. So Marana is also suggested by the Agama scholars. Okay, so my understanding here is you actually would only go up to Vivaha if you were doing just the initiation ceremony. But if you're later on, I think he's giving a general tantric Agni Mukam here, and they're mentioning that you can go all the way to Marana, which is the 17th after the 16th one is Vivaha. The 17th one is included in krura or killing motivated rituals. So if you want to kill your enemies or somebody else's enemies, you have to go up to that point. You have to add that extra samskara of death. After namakarna, the parents shall be worshipped. I'm not sure exactly what that means. And it shall be assumed as one with the Atman. So then 5 samits are sacrificed into the fire, which are completely wet from top to bottom with ghee. Okay. So after the namakarna, after you're offering into the fire for the namakarna, then he's saying here that there should be some worship of the parents, right? Who the parents of the fire are, we're not sure exactly, but anyhow, then because we're meditating on the fire as being non-different from the Paramatma also, right? So I guess we could meditate upon the parents of the Lord, whatever parents we can, either we think Devaki and Vasudeva or Nanda and Yasoda or I'm not exactly sure about that, or it could be some other parents. Then 5 samits. Samits are pieces of wood, sacrificial wood, which should be 1 pradesh long from the tip of the middle finger to the thumb, right? And so we take those and we completely dip those in ghee, completely covered, wet with ghee, and we have to offer those into the fire. And there's no mantra for that. So the ghee fire anga murti shall be offered 1 ahuti for each murti. So remember that the fire had certain anga murtis, right? And therefore we should offer 1 ahuti, 1 oblation for each of those, chanting their names. He shall take ghee in the shruva 4 times, and it shall be covered by the shruk. So you take ghee in the shruva, which is a small spoon, cover it with the shruk, right? Upside down. I think upside down. Then the deshika shall sacrifice that ghee by the shruva while standing itself by the Vani mantra. Vani mantra Vani means it's the Agni mantra. Ram Agni Namaha usually is Vani mantra. Ending by Voshat to achieve wealth. So if you want to achieve wealth, then you have to take some ghee in the small spoon, hold it with the big spoon, right? Pour it into the fire saying, Vani mantra is Ram Agni Namaha. So you can say Ram Agni Namaha Voshat or Ram Agni Voshat, right? To achieve health. So this is also possible. Sometimes you say Voshat when you put ghee in the fire. Then the Vigneshwara mantra 10 ahuti should be done. Now, exactly what the Vigneshwara mantra is, we have to look in the commentary. We're not going to do that, but it's a mantra for Ganesh. So there's some Ganesh mantra that you offer 10 ahutis after this. Thus, this is common to all tantric works. So that's what I was waiting for here. this Agni Mukham, which is just explained here, is common for all the tantric types of Agni Mukham, right? So, and it is known as Agni Mukham. So this is common for all tantric works, and it's known as Agni Mukham. So it might be useful to write this out as a prayoga, because this is actually tantric prayoga, a tantric Agni Mukham, and we could compare it because I've got some other books that mention tantric Agni Mukhams. Okay, then being worshipped, the pitam of the devata and the devata shall be assumed as Vani Rupa. So we assume now the pitam, which is the standila or the fire kunda, and the devata, right, the god that we're worshipping, the god of the Mula Mantra, the particular deity. This is a tantric Agni Mukham, and then at the end of that, we should meditate that the deity being worshipped by the Mula Mantra is non-different from the standila, the Agni Kunda, the fire altar, and that devata should be assumed to be Vani Rupa in the form of the fire, and 25 ahutis, 25 oblations have to be done in the face with ghee and the Mula Mantra. Okay, so now we get to it. So after the Agni Mukham part of it, which is common, then we're going to offer with the Mula Mantra, the specific mantra that Acharya is going to initiate the disciple into, 25 times the Mula Mantra into the fire. It is called Vatraiki Karanam, and then being assumed the fire and the Devata are one with the Atman or the Paramatman. We're talking about the Paramatman, and the Devata of the mantra and the fire are all considered to be one as they were before. This is constant meditation. 11 ahutis will be done with ghee with the Mula Mantra. This is called Nadi Sadhana by Agama scholars. Nadi Sadhana. Nadi Sadhana. Here, I'm not quite sure whether these are two things which are done one after the other, or these are two things again which are different forms. So there's the Bhaktraiki Karanam and the Nadi Sadhanam. Okay, all right. So the 25 oblations with the Mula Mantra, and then 11 oblations. Here, the Anga Devatas and the Parivara Devatas also, one ahuti for each, one oblation for each is given in the order by ghee with the Mula Mantra. Okay, so also for all the Anga Devatas and the Parivara Devatas, which were mentioned before, which need to all be written out if you want to do this. And then even in the other kundas, also, Acharya shall establish fire according to the ritual rules, beginning with the east first. Okay, so here is an indication that there are these at least 4 other fires here in the east, south, west, and north in the Yagashala. So I would suggest that this Yagashala has got probably 5 fires. It's got east, it's got Ahavaniya, Dakshinagni, Garapatya, and Avasatya, and it's got this Saba, or it's the Acharya fire, right, as the 5th. The Ritviks, right, who are the other sacrifices at the other kundas, the Acharya is sitting at the Acharya kunda, and the other 4 fires have other people sitting at them, shall be 25. So it's saying here you need 25 assistants to do this. Ahutis of rice and ghee, right? And the rice normally, with its rice and ghee, it should be cooked rice or charu, right? With the Mula Mantra to the Devata, who is worshipped by sandal flowers, etc., and who has been suggested in the Tantras. Okay, so we're going to offer charu homa, or rice balls with a little bit of ghee, and also ghee, into the fire. Early in the morning, once again, they shall sacrifice the sesame with ghee for 108 times. 1008 times. Okay, so we saw this also in the description in Hari Bhakti Vilas, it was also saying that the Acharya has to do 1008 oblations into the fire with the Mula Mantra. So here is also saying 1008 oblations into the fire with the Mula Mantra. But here they're adding that you should use sesame also, should be offered. It may be other materials also according to the suggestion of different kalpas. Okay, so there's a different shastras which say instead of sesame, you might use other items as well to go with the ghee for these 1008 oblations. Then for a student having cleaned the teeth and face and bathed, right, Panchagavyam shall be given to drink, and he shall be brought near the 5 kundas, right? So okay, so we're assuming that after they got up in the morning, the acharya and the student, the teacher and the student, both did their morning duties and bathed and everything like that. So the student bathed, cleaned his teeth, cleaned his face. Then he is made to drink Panchagavya. In normally when this type of initiation goes on, the acharya also drinks Panchagavya, and it's just an achamana that he does with Panchagavya. He makes the Panchagavya with very little cow dung, very little cow urine, like a drop of each, and then a little bit of ghee, maybe even a drop of that, and mostly it's just milk and a little bit of yogurt, like that. And they do an achamana like that, and the acharya sips 3 times, and the student sips 3 times, washes their hands. Right. Okay, this is just for purification before he gives the mantra. Okay, so then the acharya shall see in him supervision, and by the heart, acharya shall assume his chaitanya, his consciousness, as atma, and the guru shall do adva vishodhanam. Adva vishodhanam. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but he has to meditate upon the mantra in the form of the deity of the mantra within his heart. The acharya has to do that. So this is adva vishodhanam. Adva vishodhanam. We're going to look that up, see what this seems to be. Interesting. Adva. Adva. Road or orbit or way or journey or course. Vishodhanam. Vishodhanam, I believe the guru is going to purify the disciple. Vishodhana. Vishodhana, it should probably have a different, let's see. Vishodhana. Vishodhana. Okay, there are. It says here there are sets of 95 advas. One set of 3 is kaladva, tattvadva, and bhuvanadva. Well, bhuvana means earth, tattva means principle, kala means part or time. Another set of 3 is called varnadva, padadva, and mantradva. Not exactly sure what these are. The 5 kalas, nivritti, etc., were called kaladva, tattvadva, is different from one agama to another. Okay, so there might be different. Okay, there are 36 Shiva tattvas, 32 Vaishnava tattvas, and 24 tattvas of mantra, and 10 Prakriti tattvas, right? And Tripura tattvas. Shavatattvas are as follows: Shiva, Shakti, Sadashiva, Ishvara, and Vidya. Okay, 36 Shiva tattvas, 36 Shava tattvas. Okay, so let's see if we've got 95 here. We've got 36 and 32, 68 plus 24 is 80, 92. 92 plus 10 is, well, that'd be 102, plus 5. That's going to be 107. Okay. So how is it 95? Can this all add up to 90? Can this all add up to 90? Let's see. 36 plus 32 plus 24, right, is 92 already. Not sure exactly how all that adds up. Okay. Anyhow, so these five, the last five mentioned, the Shava Tattvas, Shiva, Shakti, Sadashiva, Ishvara, and Vidya, right, are purified Tattvas. Purified Tattvas. Okay, so some more are going to be explained here. Tattvas. Maya, Kala, Niyati, Kala, Vidya, Raga, Purusha. These are purified and not purified. So the first five are purified. The second seven are not purified and not purified. And then there are more Prakriti, Buddhi, Ahankar, Manas, and Jnanendriyas, the five sense organs, the five Karmendriyas, right, the organs of action, the five Tanmatras, the five Bhutas, Pancha Mahabhutas, right, earth, water, fire, air, ether, right, and then thus the Shava Tattvas have been described. Okay, the Vaishnava Tattvas, the 32 Vaishnava Tattvas. Oh, I see. Okay. The 36 Shiva Tattvas were, this wasn't a Shava, that was a spelling mistake. Shiva Tattvas are the first, and then 32 Vaishnava Tattvas, right, which are, okay, so that's what we're interested in, the Vaishnava Tattvas. The Vaishnava Tattvas are Jiva Prana, D, which means intelligence, Chitta, consciousness, five sense organs, five organs of actress, five Tanmatras, five Mahabhutas or Balas, right, Pancha Mahabhutas, heart, Agni, Soma, Surya, Vasudeva, etc. Vasudeva, etc. Then 24 Maitra Tattvas, the five Bhutas, five Tanmatras, five organs of action, five sense organs, Manas, Garva, Buddhi, and Pradhana. Nivritti, Bindu, Kala, Nada, Shakti, Sadashiva are the 10 tattvas of Prakriti, right? And then the Tripura tattvas. Okay, so these are all different systems or different agamas and different tattvas according to different agamas. You have to take those into consideration. Why? Why is all this being said, right? It's very complicated. Okay, so the guru, the acharya, is going to destroy the tattvas in the body of the disciple, but in each of these different systems, in Shaivism, Vaishnavism, Shaktism, and some other systems, they believe in different tattvas in creation, and therefore the guru has to meditate upon each one of those being destroyed and being recreated in the disciple's body, and also in his own body when he does the Buddha Shuddhi. So there'll be different Buddha Shuddhis for people in different these different agamic traditions, right? So that's why it's describing all the different variations. But we, of course, if in Vaishnava initiation, we'd only have to worry about the Vaishnava tattvas. Okay, so thus Tattvadva is described by respective agamic scholars. So the respective agamic scholars of Pancharatra Agama, Shaktagama, Shaiva Agama, they've described these different tattvas or principles, right? Bhuvanas are also suggested as Bhuvanadva. Varnadva is defined as beginning with A. So the Varna means the alphabet, letters of the alphabet. So the set of the letter of the alphabet starts with A and ends with Ksha. That's obvious in Sanskrit. The Padadva is joining letters, right? So we want to join letters of the alphabet together, and that makes the series or set of the padas or the words. The Mantradva is the heaps of mantras, right? From the letters we get the words, from the words we get the mantras, right? Thus the acharya shall purify these six advas, these six groupings, right? Upon the legs, kaladva. Upon the penis, tatwadva. Upon the navel, bhavadva. Upon the heart, panadva. Upon the forehead, padadva. And upon the head, mantradva shall be assumed. Okay, so he's doing this in Agama Shastra and also in Sri Vaishnavism is called it's a type of nyasa. It's called, okay, it's escaping me right now. But anyway, the point is it's from the feet to the head, from the feet to the head, the whole body. Feet to the head, the whole body. You hold the hands out at the side and you put them down at the feet and you move upwards and you chant the mantras for the nyasa. Yeah, it'll come to me eventually what the name of it is, but that's how you do it. Okay, so he's just explained that. So for each one of those, for the Shivas, the Shaivites, the Shaktites, the Vaishnavas, they have a different meditation on those different principles, right? But in any case, the Acharya has to do that on his own head, on his own body from foot to head, and also on the disciple. Om Amushasya Kala Dvanam Parishodayami Swaha is the method of Shodhanam. Shodhana. 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 Okay. The guru shall touch the mentioned places with the kurcha, and in the Acharya Kunda, the cleansed sesame with ghee, eight ahutis shall be given by the mantra. Okay, so he's first of all he's doing a tattva nyasa mantra in the kunda. So it's like in the process of installation. Right, the guru is first of all is offering into the fire the names of all these kalas, these tattvas, right? These groups of tattvas which are called advas, into the fire, right? And then he's going to touch the disciple with, I'm assuming with sampat ajya, which means ghee that's been left over from offering the tattva nyasa. He's going to do that on the disciple in the same way that we do. We do the samhara and shrishti nyasas in prana pratishta and touch it to the deity, right? In the same way, right? He shall assume that these advas have been dissolved in Shiva in the order of creation, right? When he says Shiva here, he means if it's a Shaivite, he's going to think Shiva. If he's a Vaishnava, he's going to think Vishnu. If he's a Shaktite, he's going to think Devi. So with the Alaukika vision or supreme vision, right, the guru shall assume that Chaitanya, that his consciousness is going to become one with the so he's creating the pure body of the disciple. And he's assuming that his consciousness or the consciousness of the deity of the mantra is going to become one with the disciple, is going to go into the disciple by doing this, right? By Shruka Purnahuti, right? The Shruka is the big ladle is used in the Purnahuti in the last oblation. Shall be done with Mula mantra. Then David, so then he should do, after he's finished, he has to do the Purnahuti in the fire after he's done the anganyasas for these different tattvas in the fire, and kept some ghee aside from each oblation, right? Then he has to do this in the fire, the Purnahuti with the shruk, right? The big ladle. Then Devata and her Anga Devatas and Avarna Devatas shall be dissolved, Udvasana. So then he has to do Visarjana of the deities that he invoked in the fire. after he does the Purnahuti. Understood. Then a sacrifice by Vyahriti for fire's tongues, one for each tongue, and then Parisechana by water. So he does a Mahavyarti Homa, Om Bhu Swaha, Om Bhuva Swaha, Om Swa Swaha, Om Bhu Bhuva Swaha. But it could be here, it could be 7 Vyahritis because it's talking about the tongues of the fire, and there are 7 tongues of the fire, right? So either, depending on how many tongues there are of the fire, if there's only 4 or 5 or 7, he could do Mahavyarti Homa in that way. Then do Parisechana with water. This is common in the end of Udicha Karma and last rites of the fire, right? Then Parisechana is done with water. Then fire shall be assumed as one with Atman. Okay. So then what he does is when he does the Udvasana, when he does the Visarjana of the fire, which he thinks of as being non-different from the Supreme Lord, who is the deity of the mantra which he's giving the disciple, he has to then do Udvasanam and valediction of that personality of the fire of the Supreme Person back into his heart, right? After the end of the Purnahuti. Then, okay. Okay. Then the paridis, darbas, and paristaranas, and darbagras shall be put in the fire in timely rituals. Right. So then we have paridis. We have some sticks that are sitting on the mekalas outside the fire, and those have to be taken and put in the fire. And you have to take also the kusha grass, which you use for paristaranam around the fire. That 16 blades of kusha grass. You have to take those and put those in the fire. This is all after Purnahuti and after Udvasanam, right? After valediction, Visarjanam. The daily rituals, for daily rituals, it is not supposed to be done. Okay, so you don't have to do this last part if you're doing daily rituals, right? If you're doing daily tantric rituals, then you can leave those things there. Right? The eyes of the disciple shall be covered with cloth with the netra mantra. So there's a netra mantra. Usually the Vedic mantras for netra and mulanam. We have Chaksumitrasya Varanasya Agnihi Apadyavapiti. There's a couple of Vedic mantras which you use for netra and mulanam. So I'm not exactly sure what he means by the netra mantra here. It could also be the tantric netra mantra, which is netra trayaya voshate or netrabhyam voshate, right? So that's probably what he means here. So you get the disciple and you blindfold the disciple, and while you blindfold him, you say netrabhyam voshate or netra trayaya voshate, and the guru shall take him from the kunda to the mandala. Remember, we have this mandala that we worshipped the day before. So he's going to be taken from the kunda to the mandala. His hands will be filled with flowers, right? And a handful of flowers shall be thrown upon the pot, kalasha, with the mula mantra in order to pacify the devata. So remember, we have got. It didn't mention here, but the next morning also the pot has to be worshipped on the mandala. But it hasn't been mentioned here. But normally the Yagshala Puja. That'll be part of the Yagshala Puja. In the Yagshala Puja, we offer in 4 places worship in Yagshalas. We offer the Yagshala itself, the deity is invoked and worshipped in the kunda, in the fire, in Agni, is called Chaturstana Puja. In the Agni, in Bimba, which means the deity, in the pot, the kumbha here, and in the mandala. So here we have a pot on a mandala, right? So we're going, the blindfolded disciple is going to drop some flowers. Normally he drops a bunch of flowers, but he could also drop 1 flower on the mandala, because that's an indication of, that can also be, in the Chakravarti mandala, you drop 1 flower, and the flower lands on the mandala, and then you get a secret name from wherever the flower lands, of whatever form of Vishnu is there on that part. But here, anyway, he's dropping a handful of flowers. He's doing Pushpanjali on the pot in which the devata of the mantra that he's being initiated into is being worshipped. The cover of the cloth shall be removed while sitting upon a dharma mat. The guru has to assume that the disciple has been dissolved and created once more in the order of the Atma Yaga. Okay, so the guru is going to do this samharanyasa and shristhinyasa on the disciple's body, destroying all the elements in the reverse order of creation, and creating again pure elements in the disciple's body, right? Yep. Then the nyasas related to the particular, it shall be done upon the body of the disciple by panchopacharas, 5 hospitalities. The devata in the pot shall be worshipped, right? So he's going to again worship the pot. Sakali karna shall be done, suggested order upon the deva mandala, right? The disciple shall upon the another mandala, I don't know what this means exactly, while doing the panchavadya, right? The guru shall take up the pot with the blessings, right? Okay, so after this is all done, right, the guru takes the pot up off the mandala, and at that time they have panchavadhyam, which means 5 types of noise, but it means nadashwaram and tavil, drums and this like a shanai type instrument, like clarinet type instrument, which is played in South India, right? And they play that, and that panchavadhyam actually means along with that they also have cymbals and they also have trumpets. So there's 5 in Kerala. They still do the 5 types of noise, panchavadhyam. If anybody wants some panchavadhyam music, I can get it for them, like that. But it's 5 types of auspicious noise, which is done at the time when the guru picks up the pot, right? And then the Brahmins then take the leaves of the kalpa turu. Remember that when we meditated upon the pot, when we established the pot, we considered the leaves sticking out from the coconut to be in the pot to be like a desire tree from the pot. So Brahmins come along and they take the coconut and they take some assistant comes and takes the coconut and the leaves off the pot, right? Then and put on the head of the disciple. Okay, so as a Brahmin comes along, takes the coconut and the leaves off the pot and touches them to the head of the disciple, right? He has to do japa of the varnas or matrikas, right? So that Brahmin or the acharya has to do japa of all the different letters of the alphabet, matrikas, right? So from A to Ksha, I guess, right? With the Mula mantra, the disciple shall be bathed by the guru, one who knows Atman, meaning the Paramatman and the Atman. Okay, so then the guru pours the pot on top of the head of the disciple, right? Normally the disciple is standing, facing the deity in the temple or in the yagshala, facing east, and with his palms in front of his face like that. And it didn't mention here taking off the blindfold, but normally the blindfold has been taken off at this point, right? So they pour the water over the head of the disciple. Okay. For the protection of the disciple, he shall be sprinkled by water, worshipped in the Vardini pot. The Vardini pot. I don't know what the Vardini pot is exactly, but he's also supposed to be sprinkled with water from that. By existing water, disciple shall do achamana, and then the guru shall do sakalikarna of the disciple, one who sakalikarna. Sakalikarna means making things complete, right? So there's also a Sakalikarna mudra, and there's also some mantras, Sakalikarna mantra, which can be said. That's given in Hari Bhakti Vilasa, I believe, in the 5th Vilasa. Anyway, of the disciple, one who is one, the disciple. So then the Acharya has to meditate, right, after doing this, that the disciple that he has bestowed, or he's installed the deity of the mantra in the disciple, basically. Yeah. Then the disciple shall stand and wear the clean clothes. So I guess maybe he has to change because he's just taken a bath, the Diksha bath. Then shall do Achamana, right? After he again takes, he has to probably change his clothes and maybe even put on new tilak or whatever, because he's had this bath. Shall sit near the guru, not taking any words. So he should be silent and sit in front of the guru. The devata transferred from the acharya to the disciple shall be worshipped with sandal, flowers, being assumed the oneness of both of them. So then the acharya will worship the deity of the mantra that he just transferred to the disciple in the disciple's body. So he'll do worship of the disciple because he's installed the deity of the mantra in the body of the disciple. Then the obedient disciple who has studied the vidya, or the process, the whole sadhana and everything, the esoteric meaning of all of this, with giving a little water, the student has to do that mantra for 8 times, okay? So the student then has to recite the mantra 8 times. The student shall then salute the guru while assuming the guru, mantra, and devata to be one and the same. So he has to offer obeisances to the guru, and he has to think that the deity of the mantra, the deity, the mantra, and the guru are all considered one thing. He shall have respect for the guru by doing Shastanga Pranam, full out Dandavat Pranam. His guru's head, his guru's and foot lotus shall be kept upon the student's head. So he should do full Dandavat Pranams and keep his head on the feet of the guru. Everything, the body, the source of wealth, the life shall be surrendered to him. The disciple shall pacify the guru thereafter, and dakshina remuneration shall be given to the Ritviks, also to the guru, and also to the helpers, the assistants. Yeah. Then all Brahmins shall be pacified with offering of good meals, sweets, presents, etc. This is the Kriyavati Diksha, which prospers all, which will, a person who does this will prosper with all types of wealth. Okay, so that's the Kriyavati Diksha, as described in Sharda Tilaka, and somewhere in there it wasn't really given exactly. When it says here the cloth shall be removed before, normally that happens that the guru is giving the mantra. They surround the guru and the disciple with cloth, and that like a dhoti is held around them, a piece of cloth, and then secretly the guru gives the mantra to the disciple in his ear, like that. And then after that's taken away, then those different things happen. So that wasn't specifically said about giving the mantra or the method of giving the mantra, but that's understood there. Okay, so that's a system of Kriyavati. Next, we're going to have Varnatmika Diksha, Kalatmika Diksha, and Vedamayi Diksha, which are only a couple of pages. So we can leave it there today, and we can finish this tomorrow. If anybody's got any questions, or we can, if you have more time, we can just. It's like, let's see, it's maybe 4 more pages. So we should be able to get back to Hari Bhakti Vilasa tomorrow. Is there any specific questions on this? It's a little difficult. It will be worthwhile going through and figuring out exactly how to do the Tantric Agni Mukam, because he says that this Tantric Agni Mukam is done in all the different Tantric rituals. And to do a complete prayoga of this, we have to look at the commentary, and I've got a commentary in Sanskrit, but it's a lot harder to do than just reading through it here, because this translation is not very good. But we get the idea. So,
but due to Pancharatra, Agni can be quite similar, wouldn't?
Yeah, sure. It's similar, and you see the same sort of actions are gone through, of of heating the ghee and purifying the ghee and purifying the spoons and doing all those things and doing the parisachanam and the paristaranam. All of these things are very similar. The difference is mainly only the mantra which is used, whether it's a tantric mantra or a Vedic mantra which is used, or no mantra. Sometimes in Apastamba there's no mantra which is used. So that's the difference. But the actual actions are probably not difficult. So if you saw somebody doing Agni Mukham, you wouldn't, just by looking at them, you wouldn't know whether it's tantric or Vedic necessarily. You would probably not know unless you heard the mantras that they were chanting.
You were supposed to do the samskaras for the Bala Agni, and that was pretty neat, just doing eight ahutis for each of the samskaras.
Yeah, I mean, some people don't do 8. Some people just do 1.
Just
8's a lot. You know.
Yeah. Okay. So that would be okay to just do 1. What about what about sometimes when is there any kind of shortcut when somebody asks you to do some different samskaras like that? Like for instance, let me give you an example. Like some kid I've seen, had not had any samskaras up until that point, and so then they said, could we do all the samskaras up until now? But I figured that would be that's a lot, for one ceremony. Most people don't have the patience to sit through all of that. So is there something like that you can do, some kind of shortcut to do all the samskaras to that point, and then just focus on the one, that they're the right age for?
Okay, so different people will, it's more or less a practical thing. People will, the priests will all try to get the maximum number of ceremonies out of the people who, in other words, why would I do 16 samskaras in one ceremony and get 1 dakshina for that? I want to do 16 ceremonies and get 16 dakshinas. That's usually the way the priests think. All right. And the way the yajamanas think is, why should I do 16 ceremonies and give 16 dakshinas when I can do 1 ceremony, do all 16 samskaras and give 1 dakshina? So that's the way people think. Anything can be done, but like I tell everybody, I tell everybody this, right? You get out of what you get the result as whatever you put in. What you do, going to get the result of that. See, that's the thing. People expect, there's a certain result they get from fasting with no water at all, and staying up all night on Ekadasi, right? And they want the same result by eating all day and drinking all day, and sleeping at night. So you get out of something what you put into it. If you put in very little effort, if you put in very little dakshina, you get out very little. If you put in a lot, it's sort of like, if you chant 1 round, that's good. But if you chant 16 rounds, that's better. If you chant 64 rounds, that's even better, right?
But if you chant 1 round during Kartik, 1 round during Janmashtami. Okay,
so if you promised to chant 64 rounds and during Kartik, if everything is multiplied by 100 or 1,000, then does that mean during Kartik you only have to chant 1 round? All sorts of people try to do these things. They go, no, but it says in the Shastra, if I do this, I get so much more benefit than doing it the other way. So why? Look, you have these people who say like, I only fast on Bhima Ekadasi or something, Nirjala Ekadasi. Because if by fasting on Nirjala Ekadasi, then I get the benefit of fasting on all the Ekadasis. Right? Right? So yeah, okay, the Shastra is telling you this, and there's a certain amount of hyperbole there. The Shastra is trying to encourage you to fast without taking water on this particular Ekadasi. And therefore it's saying this is the greatest Ekadasi. If you do this, you'll get the same benefit, like that. So some people they think, oh, okay, I'll just do that one. Forget about the other one, like that, right? Or why don't we just chant the holy name at the time of death? Why do we have to chant all throughout our life? Why don't we just chant? Why don't we just write up a will and everything? If ever I get in a car accident, play a tape of Prabhupada chanting japa in my ears before I die. Then I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to do anything, right? So there's people try shortcuts, and they try to get. I mean, even in the Shastra, you see certain things, right? Devasa Muni was being chased by the Sudarshana Chakra. Maharaj Ambarish was trying to break a fast and not break a fast in that story before the Sudarshana Chakra showed up, because the devotee of Vishnu was offended, right? Durvasa went to take his bath and he came back and he expected Ambarish to wait and to not take anything because he's the guest. You should wait and feed him first. And Ambarish did. He didn't eat anything, but he took some water because he was performing a Nirjal fast. So if he, just by taking water, he fulfilled his vow, but he also angered Durvasa. So Ambarish goes to the Brahmins and he says, what can I do? I'm fasting, but I have to wait for the guest to come. So the Brahmins gave him the loophole. They gave him the Shastric loophole. Just drink some water and it's considered breaking the fast, but not breaking the fast. It's both. You can consider it that way. So that's what Brahmins are there for. That people go to Brahmins and they say, okay, look in all the Shastras and you tell me. This is like you just asked me the question, right? Is there a way that we can do all 16 samskaras at one time? Yeah, sure. Why not? There's probably a way to do it. And we can do it. Why don't we do it? Let's do it in a simplified way. But if you think it's like saying, is there a way to I want to get a law degree from Harvard Law. So I have to do so many things and perform so many austerities and go to so many classes. Or can I just look on the internet and go to the University of Phoenix and get my law degree that way? Online by paying a certain amount of money and doing some not so serious classes online, or not so well accepted classes online. Yeah, but what kind of lawyer will you be if you've taken the quick course, or if you've actually gone through the full course? So you'll be a better lawyer if you go through the full course. These are better what is a samskara? Samskara is an impression. We're trying to make an impression upon somebody. The whole society and the person involved in the samskara, that we're trying to make an impression upon the whole of society, and also even if the little baby doesn't know what's going on, the rest of the society and the family know what's going on. So we're trying to make the word samskara means impression also. It means impression. It also means purification. But it's an impression, a mental impression. So easy come, easy go. I've heard Brahmins in India. Some of my teachers, they say to you Westerners get married very easily, but you also get divorced very easily. Mm-hmm. We make a really big deal out of the wedding because we want people to stay married. we get the whole society involved in that. And we have a big, long, maybe I've seen in Sri Rangam, I've seen a wedding that took like 7 or 9 days to do the wedding. There were so many aspects to it. It was one Acharya's son, and they did all the samskaras for him again before the wedding. He had all the samskaras done from the time of his birth, before his birth. His parents had done all the samskaras. They were already done. They decided to do them all again.
Wow.
Before he got married. Right? Because he's going to be the next Acharya. He's the eldest son of this guy, Parasara Bhatta. Lakshmi Narasimha Parasara Bhatta, Lakshmi Narasimha Parasara Bhatta. His son. Very nice kid. Okay. And so I went to the wedding and I said, what's the thing? Well, today we do this, today we do this, today we do this. We're doing all the different samskaras, we're doing blah, blah, blah. We're doing all the things. Again. Really? Well, in case we didn't get it right the first time, we're doing it again. Just to make doubly sure this guy is pure. Right? So the amount of ritual and the amount of effort that they put into it, people realized they were serious. And the kid also realizes it's serious, the young man. He realizes it's very serious. So it makes an impression on him, it makes an impression on everybody in society. So that's the thing. So if you do, you can do a 5-minute, you could do like they do in Las Vegas. People get married, they go to a chapel and the guy's there, and by the power invested in me by the online church that I'm a member of, I can now pronounce you man and wife. And tomorrow there's people divorced. So easy come, easy go. So if you want real Shakti and you want real power and you want to make a really good impression, then you do things according to the Shastra and you do them in an extensive way. That's also the reason why we have this Kalavati why is it so complicated? Why is it so complicated? Because at every step, the guru is thinking of the mantra and the deity. At every step, and the super soul, and every step, the disciple is made to think of the mantra and the deity and the super soul. At every step, in every single step, in different ways, in all sorts of different ways. If you want to learn a mantra, you say to me, you write the mantra out yourself. I send you a PDF and you have the mantra. Well, you don't have to write it out again. But in order to learn it, if you write it, you hear it, you see it, that makes it more of an impression on you that if you just open a PDF and look at it. You can't learn it that way. But if you put more effort into it, you'll learn it. So that's the thing with samskaras. We're trying to make an impression. So this diksha is also a samskara. We're trying to make an impression upon somebody. So for instance, if let's say I do an initiation and thousands of people are getting initiated. Each person out of those thousands of people doesn't really feel that the ceremony is being done only for them. Or if you do a ceremony where you do a double wedding or triple wedding, or you do a multiple wedding, a lot of people getting married at the same time, they don't feel like the ritual is exactly for them. Therefore, all these rituals and samskaras, if we do them for one person, and if we do them very authentically and very, very nicely, that will have the proper and fullest type of influence on the person's mentality. It will have the proper impression. And if you do something very sloppily and very cheaply like that, it'll have a different impression upon somebody like that. It may be the person, even without a ritual, feels that the whole thing is very worthwhile and very impressionable upon them. Even without a whole ceremony or something, the guru just says, okay, this is the mantra, that's it, like that. And the person then feels a very deep impression. It's possible, right? But the ritual is meant to add seriousness to it. It's meant to add power to it and make a deeper impression on the person, like that. So if nothing else, of course, there's other reasons for doing all these rituals, but esoteric reasons. But one of the psychological reasons we can say for doing rituals is to make a deep impression upon people's minds. I mean, look in Japan, you know, they have a whole ceremony for making tea ceremony. It's a whole ritual. It's a whole art form, right? You could just, you know, just boil some water, put a tea bag, put some water in a tea bag. If you want to have some tea, you can have instant tea. Why would you do that ceremony? Because it's making an impression on, it's a meditation. You're making an impression upon somebody's mind, right? It's not just drinking tea. It's got nothing to do. Actually, the tea is the drinking of the tea is the least part of it, right? So the ritual also here, many aspects of the ritual may seem to be not so important, right? The important thing is to make the impression upon the person's mind. If we take so much difficulty in giving the mantra to the person, won't the person think that mantra is very important? If somebody comes up to you and says here, and writes a mantra on a piece of paper and gives it to you and says, now you're initiated. How serious will you take that? How serious will you take that initiation? Here we have a 2-day ritual, right? With all sorts of fires, 25 assistants, you know, bathing the disciple, doing all these different nyasas, the mention of the again and again and again, over and over again, of the potency of the mantra and how the mantra and the deity are non-different in so many different ways. It makes a bigger impression upon people. Why do people want big church weddings? Why doesn't every bride? Why isn't every bride's dream to go down to the registry office and just get married in the registry office? Why do they all want a big church wedding? Why do they all want the big, you know? Why do they all want to dress up and they want to do the whole thing? You know, the Gurukulis now, they all want the Bollywood wedding, you know? Right? Isn't it? Right? Yeah. Good. Do it. Mm-hmm. Do it. Make the impression upon people's minds. This is what rituals are for, is to make impression upon you that this is a very serious thing. So same thing with the mantra, giving the mantra, all these things. Same thing with any ritual. So yeah, if people want to save money and they want to do things in a cheap way and a not so powerful way, yeah, they can do it like that. Or if there's some other reason, I'm not saying everybody has a bad reason. Maybe there's no time, or maybe there's no, you know, there can be some other reasons why.
Yeah, somebody that asked me previously one time, I can't even remember who it was, but what I remember what they said was that where they were living and then they moved here, they were living somewhere else where they had no priest available, and then they moved here, and so then they said, no, now that we have someone, we would like to do all of samskaras up until now.
Yeah, do them. But as I said, the priests don't want to. The priests don't want to do the ceremonies, you know, all in one go, you know. So yeah, so whichever way you want to do it, you know, it's up to people. I mean, you know, you shouldn't be too hard on people, because they have, you know, they also have limited time. They have limited resources. You know, they don't, you know, they may also not like it if a priest says, well, you have to do it like this, and this. They'll just go find another priest who can do it for them quicker or cheaper, you know. But sometimes as a priest, sometimes you want to let those people go do that. You don't want to bother with those people too. So that's up to you. You have to understand the mentality of the people. If the people are sincere, then you want to try to accommodate people. If you see that they're really sincere, if you see that they're just trying to duck out and do something for nothing, you know, get a whole bunch of rituals done without giving you any dakshina, then that's another thing, you know. So it depends upon the person, upon the people, right? You only know that. I don't know that. I don't know who the people you are talking about. You know, you have to discern that. What will be best for these people? What for these best for these people? It's like Prabhupada when he came to the West, right? He told everybody, "Oh, chant 64 rounds," and everybody's like, No, I don't think. So he said, okay, 32. Right? Then he says 16. You know, like that. So finally, he finally found a formula which people could do, or just about do. Some people couldn't do it, even that. So he found a simple formula, and he said, okay, at least do this. You know, but you have that in the scripture too. Even Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, if you can't do this, do this. If you can't do that, do that. If you can't do that, do this. At least do this, right? Why Krishna is saying, offer to me a fruit, a flower, a leaf, and some water. Well, why do we cook all this stuff, and why do we offer him so much when we just need to offer him a fruit, a flower, a leaf, and water? He's giving us the bottom line.